Hi everybody, this is Giulia Be. I am a Brazilian singer-songwriter from Rio de Janeiro, and I am so happy to be here on The Buzz. I'm buzzing!
Quando eu tinha 20 anos eu pensava que teria muito tempo para decidir.
You know, I grew up, I started playing piano when I was 6, and it was a lot of classical training and Beethoven, and once I started learning Eric Clapton and Elton John and all these other amazing Brazilian artists, my parents had a very eclectic playlist that I grew up listening to, so from Barry Manilow to Barry White, and it was just, you know, so inspiring to grow up, not only with those artists, but also Alejandro Sanz on the Spanish side, and obviously amazing Brazilian artists like Caetano Veloso, Rita Lee. All of that really inspired me to become a musician. I think above all, my main inspiration was like Hannah Montana, because that was all the rage when I was growing up. I really wanted to live a double life, and I guess I got my dream. You know, when I was, actually graduating from high school, I was pretty sure I was going to be a lawyer, ready to go into law school. In Brazil, there's no undergrad, so you go straight into whatever discipline you want, and I was ready to go into law school. But music kept knocking in the doors of my heart, and it was inevitable that at one point I would have to answer the call. And what happened was I was in Rock in Rio, and the year was 2017, and I was just going as a festival goer. When I get there, this girl calls me up and she's like, "Oh, Giulia, I actually have an extra ticket because my friend got sick. Do you want to come for the backstage pass?" And I'm like, "Girl, hell yeah, like I'm there, count me in." And I went, and she had a friend who knew the manager of Maroon 5, and she was like, "Oh, we're gonna meet them." And I thought that it was gonna be like, take a picture and get the hell out because we're about to play for 150,000 people. But they were incredibly beyond nice, and James Valentine, who's the guitarist for the band, he asked me, "Oh, like, what do you do?" And I didn't want to tell him I was like straight out of high school. So I was like, "Oh, I sing sometimes." He didn't have to know that it was in my shower, but he was like, "Oh, what do you sing?" I was like, "I did a cover of She Will Be Loved the other day." And he says, "This song that I wrote," and starts playing it. And I start singing it with him, and he does my backing vocals, and he looks at the photographer and is like, "Get this on video." So I still have the video. And after we were done singing, he was like, you have a future. You should do this with your life. And that's what really inspired me to, like, you know what? F all the bullies that are saying stuff in school and whatever. Even my parents didn't really believe in me at that point. Nowadays they're my biggest fans, but it was really, really special and hopeful to listen to that coming from someone I admired so much in music.
Show no fear, think of me by your side.
It's crazy, you never forget the first time in the studio. I've forgotten millions of times in between, but the first time I was, 17 or had just turned 18, and there was a Brazilian DJ called Zerb, and he's recently started like popping off here in the US as well. He did a song with the Chainsmokers, just released a song with Rita Ora. He's really grown at that time, and at that time we were both, relatively new artists. He had a little bit more going for than I did at that point, but I'm really grateful because he really believed in me. We recorded a song for his project called With You. And I remember kind of not knowing where I should stand, like in the mic. Like I was like, should I stand further? Should I stand closer? And just hearing your voice back to you in headphones for the first time, like that's something that most people don't really ever experience. So it was crazy to have it, and I just felt like I was, the Beatles recording in Abbey Road or something, even though it was probably like a shitty studio in São Paulo. I just felt so important. I felt like it was the beginning of my dream come true. I had such a baby voice. Like even listening back to the song now, it's crazy. I feel like, even when I had 3 followers, and those were like my mom, my grandma, and me from a fake account, those were like the moments where I was manifesting the most of it. I remember like very clearly the moment that I wrote a list down on my phone, like saying things that I want, coisas que eu quero in Portuguese. And I distinctly remember me writing, like, I want to be nominated for Best New Artist at the Grammys, and just a few years later, having that nomination was such a confirmation for me of like, oh, so, you know, everything that I put onto that list, like, there's a chance of it coming true, and none of my dreams are far-fetched. Like, they're just things that I'm intentionally putting out into the world, and the universe is giving to me in its right time. Like, the people that were there from day one is like, they believed in you before anyone did, before you had any press or any cloud. You know, it was just like, you know, those old Hollywood movies where there's like a desert and just a ball of dust throwing in the wind. Like, that was my career when they first arrived. So, you know, to be able to still connect with them and still be grateful. Actually, 2 of them work with me nowadays. They help me with, you know, organizing all like fan accounts, and just they keep me on top of my stuff.
I just called up the doctor, said I ain't sleeping at night.
So we had over 100 songs. To get it down to 21, it's a tough thing to do. So some of these songs are songs that came back from years ago. Like, I'm putting out a song called No Problem that I wrote when I was 17, so literally many years ago, without revealing my age. Not that I'm old or anything, don't get me wrong. It was just a process of like choosing not only what songs I think are the best, but also what songs make sense for me to put out now, and what songs I need to put out in order to honor that version of me that wrote that song and that wanted that song to see the light of day, you know? It's not only about present me, but also honoring like parts of me in the past. So this album is really, it's a growth from the top to bottom. I think the reason I named this project Giulia Be is that it's the first time that I'm really doing a full collection of like all the languages that I speak, and all the songs that I write in each of these respective languages and genres. So it's not those albums where you'll hear a specifically sonically cohesive thread, but there is a thread that is lyrically cohesive and of growth of an artist. I wanted people to get, it's like you know Harry Potter where Voldemort has his Horcruxes and it's like parts of him that are spread out. It feels like that. Like, it's all of my Horcruxes in one project where you can find little parts of me and my past etched in each song.
But who could blame me for being so naive and innocent? For wanting to believe in all the pretty things you said when I was lying in this bed and he was lying right to my face. Oh, 911, can you help me? 'Cause I think I have a broken heart, and I don't know what to do. I thought he was the one now on the phone.
So I'm very lyric based. And every lyric for me begins with a story and a phrase, usually. So, oh, this is a cool phrase, it's a cool concept. And I usually respect, so I truly believe that we're all vessels from God, and ideas and inspiration is something that comes by and he gives to us. And if you don't act upon it immediately, he's gonna fly that inspiration somewhere else. And Michael Jackson believed that too. He used to wake up at like 3 a.m. to cut songs, and I've, you know, also been around enough to just know that if that lyric comes to me in that language, let's try the song in this language first. It might happen that I write the song in English and I try to translate it to Spanish and end up preferring the Spanish version. For 2 songs on the EP, that actually happened in that way, where I wrote it in English first and then ended up translating it to the Portuguese or the Spanish version. And I thought that there was, you know, a lot of feeling in the Spanish version that just wasn't present in the English version. So I flip-flop around it, but it always begins with the story. Like, I don't get artists that can just go off melodies. Like, they'll just do a voice note of a million different melodies. Like, okay, now let's sit and put lyrics on top of this. I'm like, what's the story? Like, I need to know the character's arc from beginning to the end. So I have the English version of the EP coming out, and I'm really excited for that. 911 is my favorite song that I've ever written, and to have it in the hands of the world is just a feeling beyond explanation, I have to say. It's really nice when you write something that you're really proud of and you get people to listen to it and feel your same feelings and then eventually sing that back to you in a concert. So I'm hoping that people love this one and hopefully a tour next year. I'm actually getting married this year, so I'm like, you know, planning an album, planning a wedding. It's like the two most stressful things that you can be doing. There's a boy, there's a man.
There's a man.
Guys, my social media is at Giulia, that's Giulia, on Instagram and on TikTok. And for YouTube, just search up Giulia Be. I have literally too many music videos for you. If you just want to leave it on the background while you're doing the dishes or just actually intentionally watch it, I would be a very, very happy girl. Hi, my name is Giulia Be, and you've just been buzzed.